Tensions off and on the track have led to round 20 of the Formula One season, playing yet another crazy chapter in the Hamilton-Verstappen saga. 14 points between the two. By tomorrow afternoon, it could be 11. All to play for here once again as we play Stewards Bingo. Welcome, though, to the first ever Qatar Grand Prix. Formula One makes one of its biggest journeys ever as we go to the Losail International Circuit for the first ever Qatar Grand Prix. Just 3 races remain on this incredible 2021 season. Chapter 20 of the Hamilton-Verstappen battle comes to the Losail circuit as well. Fresh off the back of the controversial weekend we had in Sao Paulo, undeniably though, Lewis Hamilton's greatest ever drive. Last in the sprint race, first in the main race on Sunday. A true last to first victory over 95 laps. After this weekend in Qatar, we take a 2-week break before the final 2 races in Saudi Arabia. That is very much fingers crossed it's going to happen before revamped Abu Dhabi holds what's going to be the title showdown we're all expecting. In the Drivers' Championship, Max Verstappen's lead was 21 points going into Sunday's main race. He left Sao Paulo with it only being 14. Lewis Hamilton is closing him down with 3 races to go. Max Verstappen then has the advantage, but the teammate is catching Valtteri Bottas, the teammate of Lewis Hamilton as well, over the battle for 3rd place. Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc holding on 5th and 6th. Carlos Sainz dropping way back in 7th. Danny Ricciardo has 8th, Pierre Gasly 9th, and Fernando Alonso rounds out the first page in the top 10 on 62 points. Page 2 sees Esteban Ocon alongside Sebastian Vettel, Lance Stroll and Yuki Tsunoda scoring points as well. Then George Russell, Kimi Raikkonen, Nicholas Latifi and Antonio Giovinazzi seeds out the points finishers. Yet to score a point though is Mick Schumacher, Robert Kubica and Nikita Mazepin. In the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes is dominating by 521 points to 510 points on Red Bull. They swung it back in contention and has now an 11-point lead. Ferrari are battling Mercedes over 3rd place. McLaren's bad result last time out has put the favour very much the Scuderia's way. Alpine and AlphaTauri are still level on points, both scoring 6 last time out. Then we get Aston Martin in 7th, Williams in 8th, Alfa Romeo 9th, and pointless on the board is the Haas F1 team bringing up the rear in 10th. It's the 2021 Qatar Grand Prix, and this is your Grand Prix preview. Yes, hello everybody, welcome to your Grand Prix preview for the 2021 Qatar Grand Prix. First of all, sorry it's coming to you a bit late, and some of you are watching it on Friday morning as well over your cup of coffee and croissant, and some of you are watching it as well very late on the evening in Europe. That is because we've had to wait quite a while to get the information we need to make this programme. So let's get straight into it and not serve any problems. Starting off then with Thursday news, and this is a biggie. The controversial lap 47 accident between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. Did Max Verstappen run Lewis Hamilton off the road? Well, originally, the stewards did not have access to Max Verstappen's onboard front-facing camera. They only had access to the rear. Now, that is because the satellite link at that time was facing the rear of the car, not the front. The front camera, however, always records. It's on a little data stick, just as big, actually, if I can show you, as that. Maybe not even as big as that in F1. It's on a little data card the size of that. That is the size of the data card that is in Max Verstappen's car on the camera. And that had to be gone through Parc Fermé, removed from the car, downloaded into the FIA and F1 database as well, and then given to the stewards. That was not available until Monday evening, and then released to the public on Wednesday evening. Now, all that means is that the right of review process that Red Bull used against Mercedes at Silverstone, Mercedes have now used it here against Red Bull. They're stating that the stewards did not act on the incident in Sao Paulo because they did not have this new piece of footage. And it's true, because the stewards did not have this angle to see whether or not Max opened up his steering wheel or not. The footage has shown that Max Verstappen was turning towards the left did not open up his steering wheel, but he was not turning his wheel aggressively into the corner and the normal racing line. He didn't have enough steering lock on. If I demonstrate here with this PlayStation 5 controller, as much as it will happen, if this is turning into the corner, normally you'd go take a lot of inside lean. Max Verstappen was on the inside line of the track and ever so slightly turned in order for his own car to run straight on off the track and then run off Lewis Hamilton. Mercedes are arguing, he's forced me off the track, you never had this angle before, you've got this angle now, that should have been a penalty. The same sort of applies, the similar circumstance, to what happened to Lando Norris earlier on in the season at Spielberg when he got a 5-second penalty for running a car off the track when it wasn't deemed necessary. The stewards have reconvened here today at the request of Mercedes and their right to an appeal process. Mercedes have gone along, Red Bull have gone along, all on a virtual press conference meeting with the stewards from Sao Paulo. And it has taken until now, I'm not wearing a watch, it's taken until now, as the clock outside the box helps, it's taken until now to get the news that it's a 3-stage process. Stage 1 is looking at the new evidence that Mercedes have brought along, as well as hearing from both sides, and saying, do we need to investigate this or not? The stewards have determined that they are going to investigate it on some matter. That will take us to stage 2, whether or not it's going to be a penalty or non-penalty. And that is going to be discussed tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Qatar time. And that, of course, is quite early on in the morning for us here in the UK, which means it's another early start for everybody. It's going to take hours, though, so we'll be all right. Have a nice little lie-in. Which means, hopefully, before free practice 1 starts, for the morning session here in UK and Europe, but hopefully, we will know whether or not Max Verstappen has a penalty or not. They've got to release it before the weekend starts, though, because they've got to make the results from last week official. That could mean that if Max Verstappen is given a 5-second time penalty for forcing another driver off the track, at the very least, at least a 5 seconds, it could be easily a 10-second penalty. Either way, it'll drop him behind Valtteri Bottas and reduce the gap in the championship from 14 points to 11 points. Do you see now why Mercedes are so hopeful? It also extends the lead Mercedes has in the Constructors' Championship over Red Bull. Yeah, it's that type of complicated, it's that type of maths. Drivers have run in on this as well. Pierre Gasly said, well, just install gravel back into the racetracks as well, then this won't happen. George Russell said that absolutely Max Verstappen deserves the penalty. He ran Lewis Hamilton off the road. Charles Leclerc's got involved there as well, saying as well the same things. It's all down there. So, once again, the Chapter 20, this amazing battle, rages on here to Qatar, and we'll have to wait until tomorrow to see how Chapter 19 finished as well. It's a bit like Part 2 for the Harry Potter Deathly Hallows or the Twilight Breaking Dawn. We've had a very good Part 1, and now we're going to have an okay Part 2 coming up. Moving on to this weekend then, and a brand new circuit here, the Losail International Circuit. Brand new for Formula 1, however, not brand new for MotoGP. For regular viewers, you'll know we had 2 races at MotoGP here this year, but it's been going at this circuit since about 2004, and it's been a night race as well. Traditional season opener. It is a beautiful circuit for bike racing. It's a very fast and difficult circuit for F1. It's going to be insane. Overtaking could be limited, tyre wear could be a problem. I'm even being told that we could have numerous punctures all the way around as well. It's looking beautiful this weekend for another great race. Lance Stroll has said no change in approach for Qatar. Pierre Gasly, track seems really fast. Nicholas Latifi is curious to see how we get on. Everyone looking forward to a new track in Qatar, says this. And we're not on Daniel Ricciardo. Unsure how McLaren will compete with Ferrari here in Qatar because we don't actually know which circuit it's going to favour. It's going to favour the McLarens. It's going to favour the Ferraris. Yuki Tsunoda, still frustrated after Brazil, but no worries about car for Qatar. Yeah, that's about Yuki Tsunoda got a penalty for going on the inside of Lance Stroll and Stroll turning him into him. And everybody, it's been split about 60-40. 60% say that it should have been Stroll having a penalty, 40% saying it should have been Tsunoda. Tsunoda got the 10-second penalty. In my opinion, it should have been Stroll. Stroll turned in on him in towards turn 1. Where's the consistency with the stewards as well? Stewards last weekend, Tim Mayer as well, Matteo Peroni, Vittorio Liuzzi, Roger Popo Monroe as well. They were the stewards, and they are going to have to answer some questions as well. Going on, Lando Norris admits Ferrari are quicker at the moment ahead of Qatar. Charles Leclerc saying he's relishing a super exciting new challenge as well. Nikita Mazepin plays down previous experiences here at the Losail circuit as well, where he has some great success in junior formula. Same goes with Mick Schumacher, but Mick Schumacher also said that he's happy with Haas's progress and say that they're a super motivated team going into this weekend. So that is fantastic to see as well. Antonio Giovinazzi determined to give everything for the remainder of the season. That's also, of course, after Antonio Giovinazzi that announced that he is leaving Formula One and he is going to race with Dragon in the ABB FIA Formula E Championship ahead of Season 8. So we're going to still see Antonio here on YouTube, but he's leaving Formula One. He's been replaced by Guan Yu Zhou, the very, very fast Chinese driver, making him the first ever full-time Formula One Chinese F1 driver. Fantastic. Well done. And do not think that he's a paid driver just because he's paid his way in. Niki Lauda paid his way in, and look how he turned out as well. Trust me, Guan Yu Zhou, superb driver. I'm going to look forward to seeing him next year as well. Should it have been Oscar Piastri? That's a different matter. But of course, do not hate just because it's not Oscar Piastri. He'll get his time, don't you worry. Further down on the list as well, Max Verstappen, pretty relaxed and confident with the car and engine ahead of Qatar as well. This is a circuit that should suit both the Red Bulls and Mercedes. Expect another dogfight. Previous Qatar win not on radar for Sergio Perez. Of course, he is the only one really on the grid to have raced here before. Mazepin and Perez have raced here, but Perez has got a race win here. He won the 2009 GP2 Asia race, of course, on Valentine's Day in 2009. Kimi Raikkonen, nice to have a new track in hectic season conclusion as well. Yeah, was it 5 races in 6 weeks? It's a mad one. George Russell, Q2 hopeful, is a minimum here in Qatar. See if Mr. Saturday can do it again after getting out-qualified, of course, by Nicholas Latifi for the first time. Last time out as well, by a Williams driver, the first time he's ever been out-qualified. As well, Lewis Hamilton focused on doing my job ahead of Qatar, despite what's happening with him in Brazil. Valtteri Bottas hoping for focused time learning on Qatar circuit. Of course, only 3 hours to get used to it before we go into qualifying. It's not a sprint weekend. We're back to the traditional weekend. So the driver's got 3 hours to head out there and get going. Sebastian Vettel knows nothing about the Losail International Circuit, so he's going to be learning quite a lot. Fernando Alonso, Alpine's weekend priorities are more focused on Sundays. Carlos Sainz is saying eager for Ferrari and Mercedes battle to resume, and who can blame them? So that's all the news that has come here as well from the Thursday session. So it's time for a lap attack, and you might be thinking, but hang on a minute, how have you got a lap attack? The F1 game doesn't have Qatar. Oh yes, the F1 game doesn't have Qatar. Do you know what one does though? MotoGP. Coming up then, a lap with Marc Marquez on the MotoGP game of Qatar. Let's see how this looks. Let's take a look then around the Losail circuit, this time with a MotoGP bike. The only version of any motorsport that have actually been here that I've got a game out. Down towards turn 1 then in a Formula 1 car, it began to 5th gear, 160 kilometers an hour. A long sweeping right-hander that straightens out on the run up towards turn 2. 200 kilometers an hour in an F1 car, 5th gear corner, loops back out, little kink again to the left for the fast sweeping turn 3. 6th gear, 265 kilometers an hour, back on the brakes after a little bit of a straight to turn 4. 6th gear, 215 kilometers an hour, back on turn 5 as well. 5th gear, 200 kilometers an hour, and then just roll at the exit. Downhill towards turn 6, 3rd gear, 100 kilometers an hour. It tightens up midway through as well as you bank to the left. Down the straightaway then towards turn number 7. Another hairpin on this track, 4th gear, 140 kilometers an hour. It's difficult to get the car stopped as well. Even on a MotoGP bike, it just lets you drift out wide. Then you come through 8 and 9, the Mickey Mouse section that sweeps back on each other. 6th gear, 240 kilometers an hour, back down to 6th gear, 250 kilometers an hour. Down to turn 10. 4th gear, 145 kilometers an hour, back through the hairpin. Back on the accelerator then, through to the long sweeping turn 11, 7th gear, 260 kilometers an hour, back on the brakes into turn 12 at 7th gear, 260 kilometers an hour, easy at 313 as well, 7th gear, 260 kilometers an hour, back in there into turn 14, 7th gear, 250 kilometers an hour as well. Now you're into the third sector, another little straightaway similar to what 5 and 6 was, but this time into turn 15, down then, 7th gear, 240 km/h in an F1 car, back on the accelerator, only one DRS zone on this track there, and you come out to the activation point, which is down at turn 16, a 4th gear, 165 km/h corner. It tightens up a lot as well. It's another long sweeping left-hander that feeds into the right, down the start-finish straight, your top speed as well, through the speed trap as you cross the control line, and that is a unique lap of the Losail International Circuit. Yeah, that was special. And hopefully we'll have some nice graphics ahead of FP2 as well to slot in with the usual track rummage around as well. As soon as it's here on telly and I can grab it, I can put it on because it's technically in a game, so we can use that. Yeah, what a lap. What an absolute lap as well. 2 minutes 7 on a motorcycle. We're predicting about 1 minute 30 on a car. So 1 minute 35 max. So, mwah, mwah, mwah. Beautiful lap. Okay, here's the coverage times. Here's the coverage times then for this weekend. Practice 1, we're on here at 10:20. Practice 2 is on here at 1:50. Saturday, practice 3, that is on here at 10:50. Qualifying, we're underway at 1:40 with me and Megan doing our commentator challenge on MotoGP bikes this weekend. That's going to be a lot of fun. Session gets underway at 2 o'clock. And the race on Sunday, we are on here at 1:30 with our half-hour build-up with the race underway at 2 o'clock. And you can join us at 4:10 for the Grand Prix review. Just 3 races remain then in 2021. All of them are the final 3 Formula 1 races. Chapter 20 of Lewis Hamilton versus Max Verstappen starts tomorrow. Thanks for your company. We'll see you for FP1. Bye for now.